Hello everybody, this is Scout 100 and welcome back to some more Phoenix Wright Dual Destinies. In the previous episode, we had started off the game stepping into the shoes of Athena, and oh boy, a lot has happened uh, since, well, Apollo Justice, for that matter. Apollo got caught up in an explosion in courtroom number 4, which, funny enough, is the case that we have on trial right now. Hold on. Gotta love living in the city. Which is the case that we have on trial right now, and so he was not able to take up defense in this case. Athena tried, but she, for some reason, was not able to do it. Some sort of PTSD thing or something. So we're back with our old favorite Phoenix Wright, who now has his badge back, who is now a full-fledged attorney. And, well, we started the trial, and we're back here questioning the defendant, Miss Juniper Woods. So, if you like what you see, leave a like down below, comment if you have anything to say, subscribe to me if you haven't already, click that bell so you're notified of everything that I do when I do it, and share with your friends so they can join in on this trial / eventually investigation. But that's not going to be until the second episode. Let's go. Junie. Hi, Athena. She looks even worse off than before. Don't worry, Junie. We're here for you. Thanks, Athena. And I'll do my best, too. You blew up the courtroom because you bear resentment against the courts, correct? No, of course not. What's that you say? I can barely hear you. I haven't done anything wrong. This prosecutor's scary. Objection! What an impudent little girl. Stop acting innocent and tell the truth. This is getting ugly. You were on the bomb because you wanted to blow up the courthouse. Admit it! That's why you went to the lobby where Mr. Justice was, isn't that right? Mr. Wright, can I go give that prosecutor a smack? What? Of course not. Do we have to review courtroom manners 101 again? Can't let a creep like that bully innocent girls like this off so easily. I haven't forgotten about how he treated you. Don't worry about me. Just help Junie. Her heart's crying out. She's so scared. So very scared. Looks like Athena's picking something up with her heightened sense of hearing. And it sounds like this time it's the voice of Miss Woods' heart. Don't deny it. You stole the remote switch and used it in the courtroom, didn't you? Objection! Your Honor, please put a stop to this. Mr. Payne is badgering the defendant. Yes, Miss Woods does seem quite frightened. Mr. Payne, I ask that you behave more like a gentleman. Ah, but don't you know, Your Honor? There is no more gentleman in this world than I. As if a gentleman, even a gentleman would behave like he does. Don't let that rude ruffian win. Tina? How dare you call a gentleman such as I a rude ruffian? I'll have you know I attend a manners class every Saturday. Oh, I'm more than just a mere gentleman. I'm a genteel man. Not when you're terrorizing a young lady or not. I demand my money back from that manners class if I were you. God! I should probably be the adult here and stop the two of them, but... Mr. Payne, that will be enough! Certainly, Your Honor. No further questions. Let's move on to the defendant's testimony. Mr. Woods, please share with the court what you were doing when the bomb went off. When the bomb went off. Well, that day, I was watching from the gallery. The bomb went off. And rubble started falling. It fell on top of me. Junie's clearly in pain, being forced to recall the bombing like this. She can't even get her words out. This is gonna work, so what now? Wait a minute! Even if she can't vocalize what she wants to say, we can listen to what's inside her heart. Yes, now it's a perfect time to use Athena's power. You can hear it, can't you, Athena? The cries of Miss Wood's heart? Yes, and they sound incredibly strained. She's so scared. I think she could collapse any second. Athena has a unique ability, you see. With her finely tuned sense of hearing, she can hear the words of a witness's heart. In essence, she can sense how a person is really feeling from the tone of their voice. Guess all up to Athena and her special ability now. Athena, I want you to use the analytical psychology you studied. And listen to the testimony of Miss Wood's heart. Okay, boss. I'll give it a go. After all, this is the whole reason I put all that effort in studying analytical psychology. Oh, let's do this. So, your holographic thingamabob can show us how Miss Woods is feeling, right? In a nutshell, yes. The emotions and images I picked up on just now while listening to her testimony, I can enter all of that into Widget and use the mood matrix to analyze them. These mood markers here reflect fluctuations in Junie's emotions. When she feels happy or is enjoying the memory, the happy marker will light up. When she's feeling angry or frustrated, the angry marker will react. When she feels sadness or is frightened by a memory, the sad marker will blink. And when she feels surprised or confused, the surprise marker will let us know. So with your special ability in Widget's Mood Matrix program, we can track how Miss Woods is feeling as she testifies. Talk about the wonders of technology. Yep, now let's give it a shot. I'm picking up on some kind of discord or noise in Junie's heart. See here? It's what the noise looks like in the Mood Matrix. It's a result of inconsistencies between her testimony and her feelings. If we can pinpoint these inconsistencies, the noise level should drop. Okay, it's time to listen to Miss Wood's true testimony. Well, that day, I was watching from the gallery. The bomb went off. And rubble started falling. It fell on top of me. Wait. That's weird. I think I have a good grasp on how Junie's emotional state now. This power of Athena is incredible. I'm seeing an unexpected emotion that's inconsistent with the content of her testimony. What? Already? Look at this. When she says it fell on top of me, the happy marker is reacting. Not as strongly, but just a little bit. Well, look at that. That is odd. There must be a reason for this contradictory emotion. We need to do some digging. When you find an unexpected emotion, touch the pinpoint and the pinpoint button and select the unexpected emotion or reaction from the 4 mood markers. Which is registering joy when Miss Woods recalls rubble falling on her. There must be a reason for this unexpected emotion. Miss Woods, as rubble was falling, was there also something that made you feel happy? What? Mr. Wright, the feeling of happiness is spreading throughout Junie's heart. Keep going on this point, and I bet Junie will start to calm down. Great. Let's hear what she has to say.
Just as I was about to escape the courtroom, the bomb went off. I was so startled, I tripped. And then rubble started falling on the top of me. I really thought I was done for. But then Apollo came and rescued me.
Apollo?
He used his own body to shield me from the rubble.
So that's when he sustained those injuries. How do you feel, Junie? Did talking about Apollo give you some courage?
Yes, Apollo is just like the sun, strong and bright and warm. Just talking about him makes me feel like a leaf undergoing photosynthesis.
And see, your coughing stopped all of a sudden.
Oh, you're right. Thank you, Athena.
Got down to 50. Looks like we were able to draw out some new testimony. Pretty neat, huh? But there's still some noise left, meaning there still must be some discord in Junie's heart. Huh. I guess we'll have to keep going then. Let me put the new information, update the mood matrix, and we'll be good to go. You remember what to do, right? I found the unexpected emotion, just touch the pinpoint button. And then the unexpected emotion. We can find the reason for the discord in our heart. We should be able to draw even more testimony. Here we go. I tried to run, but I was too slow. Before I could get away, the bomb went off. I was so startled I tripped. Then rubble started falling. I thought I was done for. Then Apollo came and rescued me. Why? Okay. You were happy when Mr. Justice rescued you, weren't you?
Yes, I was really happy.
But was there also something something you felt sad about at the same time?
Sad?
The reason I ask is, when you were describing how you were rescued, we sensed a little sadness too.
Oh! I think it's probably because of Bumrap Riney.
Bumrap Riney? Well, what do you know? Something new.
That's right. I brought my stuffed animal, Bumrap Riney, to watch the trial with me. Bumrap Riney and Phony Fanty are brothers.
Who knew that the legal world could inspire a whole line of merchandise? Ha!
I had Bumrap Riney with me while I was watching the trial. But it wasn't until Apollo saved me that I realized I'd lost him as I was running away. My poor Riney, a victim of that terrible bomb. Oh, I know. You can see what he looks like in this poster. It's for the campaign to eradicate fake evidence and false charges.
Phony Fanty and Bumrap Riney, huh? Nothing against the campaign, but why an elephant in a rhinoceros?
Mr. Wright, I don't sense any discord in Junie's heart anymore.
And that's it. So I guess that means we managed to draw out all of her testimony.
That's right. I'll just make an update with the new information and we'll have the whole picture.
So do you think your new testimony would help? Absolutely. I don't know what I would have done without you, Athena. So Bumrap Riney was in that courtroom when the bomb went off. Now that we know that, it changes the meaning of that other piece of evidence. All I have to do is present it at the right statement. Watching from the gallery with Bumrap Riney, I tried to run but I was too slow. Before I could get out of the courtroom, the bomb went off. So startled that I tripped. Then the rebel started falling. Then Apollo came and rescued me. Miss Woods, I know this trial's been very hard for you, but you can relax now. You are without a doubt innocent. Mr. Wright, what wild assertion are you making now? My wild assertion is simply this. The two stuffed animals were mixed up. The tail the defendant's fingerprints were found on. Wasn't that a phony fanty? It was the tail of her gallery companion, Bumrap Riney. Objection! What? What nonsense is that? I can see they're both stuffed animals, yes, but they're completely different characters. An elephant and a rhino. They're as distinct as a defense lawyer and a prosecutor. But are they really so different? Both defense lawyers and prosecutors strive to protect the peace or the law. Even elephants and rhinos have some similar characteristics. They're both gray, for example. Anyway, this poster is all I need to prove my assertion to be true. If I may direct the court's attention here, you'll clearly see how the two got mixed up. Bada bing. Bada boom. Take that! Well, would you look at that? Two tails are exactly the same. Yes, exactly. The two stuffed animals are based on entirely different animals. But the design of their tails is exactly the same. Gasp! Order! Order in the court! As long as the possibility exists that the tail belongs to Bumrap Riney, we can no longer consider it to be decisive proof that the defendant handled the bomb. And as things stand, I consider the charges against the accused unsubstantiated. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Payne? Oh, yes, of course, Your Honor. Ooh, that was great, Mr. Wright. You turned things right around. Yeah, it's not over yet, but at least we managed to hold out this long. I believe that brings our proceedings for today to a close. Mr. Payne, I'm afraid you have some serious investigating ahead of you. Yes, Your Honor. Very well. Let us reconvene tomorrow. Court is adjourned. December 17th, 11:56 a.m. District Court. Defendant Lobby number 5. That was exciting, boss. We did it. True to form, you managed to just barely pull it off at the very last moment. True to form? Gee, I never knew you had such a glowing opinion of me. Thank you for everything you're doing. You did great, Miss Woods. You really stuck it out. And you got really brave at the end, just like we needed you, just when we needed you most, Jeannie. Thanks to you, we were able to turn things around. Well, you were the one who gave me the courage, Tina. Really? Thanks. To be honest, was I any help at all? Of course! Without you, we would have never gotten out of that tight spot. That's good to hear. I may still have a lot to learn, but you can bet that I'm going to give it my all. I'll be so good that one day you'll call me your partner. That's what I like to hear. Analytical psychology. The ability to solve the riddles of a person's heart. Tina's true potential is beginning to really shine through now. Hey, where's Apollo anyway? Good question. I almost forgot about him. I assumed he'd still be here in the lobby. Oh, I know. Maybe he's still in courtroom number 4. Courtroom number 4? What would he be doing at the scene of an explosion? When I came out to the lobby to rest, I told Apollo about Bumrap Riney. I told him I dropped Riney in the courtroom as I was trying to escape before the blast. And then Apollo said he had an idea where Riney might be, so we went to take a look together. Huh, I guess Apollo can be pretty nice when he wants to be. So you went looking for Riney together before you were called back into courtroom number 5? Yes, I had some time to rest, so I was able to go look for him. But then they called me into courtroom number 5 to testify. Apollo insisted on staying there, though. With all those injuries? What are we managing?
I think Apollo might figure something out.
Wonder what it was.
He told me, I'm going to look for evidence to clear your name, Juniper.
Just maybe he found a new piece of evidence.
Anyway, we better go and get him.
Good idea. I completely forgot about this part. Shit. If I knew, I would have just extended the other episode. December 17th to 11 p.m. District Courtroom number 4.
Where are you, Apollo? Trial's over for today. Come on, I know you're... No.
To be continued. Right now! This is way too early to end the episode. September 18th, 9:34 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 5. This isn't exactly how I envisioned the second day of this trial to start. But given how things ended yesterday... Good morning. The mood sure is tense. Not that that's any surprise.
Oh, hey. Did you read the paper this morning, boss?
Huh? The paper? That came out of left field.
If you didn't read it, then you don't know the big news. Somebody spotted an abominable snowman way up in the mountains.
Tell me you know the difference between a paper and a tabloid, Athena.
It might show up in the forest where you live, Junie. So you better watch out, okay? You really should read the story for yourself. I couldn't begin to do it justice. Justice?
Huh?
Oh, poor Apollo. It's all my fault. Athena! Oh, Judy, what was I thinking? I'm so sorry.
What we found yesterday was not Apollo's dead body, thank goodness. He'd been assaulted by someone with a blow to his head and was lying unconscious. We rushed him to the hospital right away, and it looks like he's going to pull through. But it's still quite a shock to stumble upon a scene like that. Is Miss Woods alright, Athena?
Well, I managed to get her to stop crying. Now she's resting on that sofa over there.
Guess she really feels responsible for what happened to Apollo. Poor Junie.
She believes that the reason Apollo was attacked is because he was helping her look for something in that courtroom.
Oh? Guess I can see why she'd think that. By the way, how are you doing?
Who, me?
Yeah, you know. I know you're concerned about Miss Woods, but are you alright?
Me? I'm just doing just fine, boss. I mean, yeah, it was a huge shock. But I'm alright. People who study analytical psychology are great at times like these. After all, they've learned how to control their own emotions too.
Somehow, I don't think it's as easy as she makes it sound. But there's no denying that she's a real trooper. Apollo doesn't remember a thing, does he?
Yeah, he can't recall anything from the time right before he was assaulted. Nothing about what he was doing in courtroom number 4 or who assaulted him. Doctor said it was probably due to that hit that he took to the head.
Assaulting in a court of law and losing your memory at that. I know how that feels. Oh man, don't you know? Beginning of game 2. Who in the world would do such a thing, huh, Mr. Wright? Ugh, just wait till I get my hands on the coward who hurt our Apollo. Now, Athena. I thought you said you were in control of your emotions. Let's just focus on helping Miss Woods, alright? But I do admit I'm just as upset as you are. Okay, boss, you're right. Apollo's assailant can wait until after we clear Junie's name. That's the spirit. Now, let's see. Better check the court record one more time before the trial starts. Anything new? No? Though we didn't check out the case. L100 1001-5R. Oops. Oh, I guess I couldn't look at it. Apollo assaulted during the trial yesterday. Thankfully, he's going to be okay, but he's still undergoing treatment. At the hospital, undergoing treatment. Memory serves. When I have more than 6 pieces of evidence, I should be able to switch pages with that. Alright, to Mr. Wright, I'm ready whenever you are. Alright, let's get ready to rumble. You bet. With everything that happened with Apollo, I didn't have time for a proper investigation. Can't let that stop me, though. I have to get this right, for Miss Wood's sake and Apollo's too. December 18th, 9:50 a.m. Houston Courtroom number 5. I'm so sorry for the yawning. All these voices, really, I have not done this amount of voices in a while, considering, obviously, things were split up by the end of the last game. So, my breathing technique is completely out of whack. Day 2. Court is now in session. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Juniper Woods. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready, Your Honor. Now then, I believe I instructed the prosecution to further their investigation. Were you able to locate the remote switch in question? I'm afraid the remote switch is still missing, Your Honor. I must say I'm disappointed, Mr. Payne. Not angry, just disappointed. I apologize, Your Honor. Aha! Looks like the prosecution is just as unprepared as I am. There is a separate matter, however, that I would like to bring up during this trial. A separate matter, you say? And what might that be? I assume you are aware of another incident occurring during yesterday's trial. Speaking, of course, of the assault on Mr. Justice in the ruins of courtroom number 4. Uh-oh. Why is he bringing that up? Yes, what a truly harrowing experience it must have been. Poor Mr. Justice. At the time of the attack, Mr. Justice was not alone. He was with the defendant, Miss Juniper Woods. He isn't going where I think he's going with this, is he? The prosecution wishes to indict Miss Woods on the charge of Mr. Justice's assault. Order! Order in the court! Mr. Payne, the incident under deliberation here is the courtroom bombing. The assault of Mr. Justice has nothing to do with this trial. But I believe there is a connection between this case and Mr. Justice's assault. Please, take a moment to consider these facts. Both events occurred in courtroom number 4. This is a location in the courtroom where the unconscious Mr. Justice was discovered. As you can see here, it's quite close. It was quite close to where Detective Arm's body was found. Oh boy. The question is, why did the culprit feel the need to maliciously attack Mr. Justice? Why, indeed. What do you believe their motive to be, Mr. Payne?
I believe Mr. Justice found something in that courtroom while Miss Woods was with him. Evidence that fingered her as the perpetrator of the bombing.
You mean you found some incriminating evidence?
Precisely, and so I surmise that the defendant picked up a piece of rubble and hit Mr. Justice on the back of the head in order to silence him. Objection! Judy would never do such a thing. She was devastated when we found Apollo hurt like that.
Miss Sykes, please control your outbursts.
It is the prosecutor's belief that by deliberating on Mr. Justice's assault, we will draw ever closer to the truth of the courtroom bombing itself.
Very well. Mr. Woods is hereby officially indicted on the charge of assaulting Mr. Justice.
What? Why are you listening to Mr. 2-A over there? Although, considering our conversation yesterday,
I think Apollo might have figured something out.
I wonder what it was.
He told me, I'm going to look for evidence to clear your name, Juniper.
Maybe the two incidents really are related after all. I would like to start by hearing from the defendant herself.
Very well, bailiff, please bring Miss Woods to the witness stand.
I'm sorry. I can't seem to stop.
Miss Woods. Guess she's still really upset about Apollo. Miss Woods, you went to the ruins of courtroom number 4 with Mr. Justice, did you not?
Yes, I did.
Good, good. If you would then, please testify about what happened to the court. Alone with Apollo.
During the trial yesterday, I was overcome by a fit of coughing. Apollo stayed with me and we went to the courtroom ruins together. But then I was called back to this courtroom to give testimony. Apollo insisted on staying behind in the courtroom number 4. I swear I didn't attack Apollo. Why would I ever hurt such a kind person?
So Mr. Justice stayed by your side while you were feeling unwell. What an admirable young man. I thought his loud voice was his only outstanding feature.
He may look like a little imp at times, but Apollo can be really nice, too. Hope she didn't hurt her wrist backhanding that one out.
But what else to wonder? Why did Mr. Justice stay behind in the ruins?
I think Apollo might have figured something out.
Something? What kind of something?
Something to do with the courtroom bombing kind of something, I think.
Oh, new evidence for the case, was it? That's a very big kind of something indeed.
I believe so. He mentioned looking for some evidence while I was called away.
Objection! Just as I thought, there is a connection between the two incidents. But the defendant has told a very big lie, Your Honor.
What lie is that? When she learned Mr. Justice would be looking for evidence, she attacked him. She attacked him to give herself the chance to destroy that evidence.
No! I never...
Objection!
Miss Woods repaid Mr. Justice's kindness with violence.
We found the proof of her foul deed there in the courtroom ruins.
What on earth?
Do you see it? There in front of Mr. Justice's right hand. Witness the message he left us. It's written in blood. W-O-O-D-S. Why, isn't that...
That's right, Your Honor.
It says Woods in capital letters.
What?
I submit that Mr. Justice left us with the name of his attacker before he fainted.
No, that can't be true. Why would Apollo write my name?
Mr. Wright, the nerve of him leaving that message. Why would he do this? Hey, don't take it out on me. I don't understand it any more than you do. I discovered Apollo yesterday.
didn't even have a chance to rush over to him. As soon as security heard Athena's scream, they ran in and cordoned off the area. After that, they were in the courtroom number 4 with Apollo the whole time. Couldn't investigate anything ourselves and had to leave everything to the police. Still, I never thought they would find some bloody writing there. Now then, please begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Oh boy. The trial yesterday was overcome by a fit of coughing. Do we know it's... Apollo stayed with me. We went to the courtroom ruins together. Hold it! Why exactly did you go to the courtroom ruins?
We went to look for my medicine to stop my coughing.
Your medicine? Why would your medicine be in courtroom number 4?
I dropped it in the heat of the moment. Bumrap Briny. He was keeping my medicine safe for me. He has a little compartment that I can put things in, you see.
And Phony Fanty has the same type of pocket. It's where the bomb was inserted.
I put my medicine for my coughing fits inside Bumrap Briny. When I told Apollo about it, he said he'd help me go look for him. There was so much rubble in there. I was worried, but there was no rubble or anything in front of the witness stand. So when we got inside, Apollo went straight there and started looking for my writing in that area. It was so nice of him to do that for me, in spite of all his injuries. Apollo was so strong and kind, just like the trees of the forest.
The way she makes him sound, you'd think Apollo was some kind of an ancient god. Oh, wait. Ha! So that's why you went to the ruins. I see. Seems to be quite an important fact. Please add it to your testimony, Miss Woods.
Apollo started looking for Bumrap Briny near the witness stand where there was no rubble.
Is it that easy? Objection! It is! So we started a search with the witness stand, you say?
That's right. I guess maybe he wanted to start from the furthest point in the room. He was being so brave. And strong.
But that's odd. Under the circumstances, he shouldn't have been capable of that.
But he was, and still is. You might not look it, but he really is brave and kind too.
No, that's not the part I'm finding fault with. Someone has a crush on Apollo. What you're claiming is something that no one should been able to do. But I should think that anyone can be brave and kind if they wanted to be, Mr. Wright. True, anybody can be brave and kind, but if you would please take a look at this diagram. The courtroom in the state, how was it possible to walk up to the witness stand?
Oh!
I see your points. The rubble blocks off access to the area around the witness stand.
Does such a tiny inconsistency even matter? Perhaps the witness is simply misremembering it.
Ugh. Great, no, I'm not sure if it matters.
A real man doesn't make his mountains out of molehills, you know.
But that's precisely what Mr. Wright does best. I call slander, Your Honor. So, was it really impossible to approach the witness stand? I have to say, it's been hard to tell with the accuracy from this diagram. Mr. Payne, do you have any other photos of the crime scene?
Let me see, Your Honor. Ah, yes. I have one more.
Interesting.
Here it is. It's
more pulled back version of the photo I presented before. Huh? What's that hunk of metal on wheels? Mr. Payne, is the metallic object in that photo Mr. Tonate's bomb transport case? That's right. Is there some problem?
Yes, the transport case was there in courtroom number 4 when the bomb went off. It's been there ever since.
Oh, that's it.
Miss Woods, have you remembered something?
Yes, I just realized. Its position, it's different from before.
Its position? The position of what?
The position of that big metal thing.
The bomb transport case?
Yes. Well, Apollo and I went through there, it was in a different place. Where the case is in the photo was open space, so it was easy to search the stand.
I see. So where was the transport case when you and Mr. Justice saw it?
As I recall, I think it was more to the right.
To the right? Then that means... In that case, the case was over there at the time of Apollo's attack. Who cares when the transport case was when? What difference does it make? It has nothing at all to do with what we were talking about. Objection! Where the transport case was has everything to do with this discussion. In fact, it's so important that it's enough to turn the prosecutor's argument on its ear. What?
Well, that certainly sounds very relevant indeed. And you sound as though you know where the case was at the time of the attack.
Yes, Your Honor. This diagram represents the crime scene as shown in the photo. And this is where the transport case was at the time of the assault on Mr. Justice. It happened, it was over the woods that so happened to be there. Take that! Your Honor, I assert this is where the transport case was at the time of the assault. But that's... inconceivable! Miss Woods, was this where the transport case was when you saw it?
Yes, that's where it was.
Thank you, Miss Woods. I'm sure the court has noted an interesting fact about this position.
The transport case covers up the writing in blood.
Exactly. The transport case was in that position at the time of the assault. Then no message could have been written there because the case was in the way. Which leads us to the conclusion that Mr. Justice couldn't have left that bloody writing. Objection! Why should we believe the defendant's claiming that the case was in a different position? She's obviously lying. Objection! The fact that the case was moved after the assault of Mr. Justice is proved by more than Miss Wood's testimony alone. What? And where is this proof you are talking about? It's right here in the crime photo.
I'm keen to see this proof myself, Mr. Wright.
What in this photo indicates what the transfer case was moved after the assault? I mean, not only the markings on the tire, but the fact that it was over the bandage. Take that! Please take a look at the mark that runs over Mr. Justice's bandages here.
I see it, but what is it?
This mark was made by one of the casters from the transport case carrying the bomb. As the case was moved, it ran over his bandages. In other words, the transport case was originally to the right of Mr. Justice. Then, after Mr. Justice was assaulted, the transport case was moved. What? Just as Miss Woods said, the case was covering the writing at the time of the assault. Therefore, it was impossible for Mr. Justice to have left that message in blood. No! You did it, boss. It was a real nail biter, but you pulled it off. Yep, that should bring down the prosecution's claim like a house of cards.
Order in the court! Mr. Wright, that was a very clever deduction.
Ah, it was nothing, Your Honor. Nothing but pure genius. Take that.
Boss, I'm sensing a definite smug and braggy vibe coming off of you.
Just one question, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Justice didn't leave this message in blood. Then who did?
Huh?
What?
Oh. Well... Looks like I should have taken that train of thought through to the last station.
Well, well. I've heard a lot about this. So this Mr. Wright's famous bluffing technique, is it?
Ah, this feeling. It brings back memories of the old days. Back when you carved out a name for yourself by bluffing your way through thick and thin.
Gee, Mr. Wright. That just kinda makes you sound no better than a 2-bit con man. You made your argument with such confidence, Mr. Wright. Now I'd like to hear your answer with just as much confidence.
Hey, until the judge asked the question, you didn't catch on either, Buster.
What now, boss? I hope you didn't bluff your way into a corner.
Think, Phoenix, think! There must be a way through this! I have to dig my way through the truth somehow. Who could have written that message in blood? Okay. This is a trick! This is a fucking trick! Because when it says the culprit, the first thing that comes to mind is the culprit of the bombing. But no, we're talking about Apollo's thing right now. Somebody else. If it wasn't Apollo, who could have left the bloody message? Well, fuck. I know the answer. Well, to be honest, I don't actually have any real proof of this. Oh, Phoenix and I are right on here. But I've come this far. There's no turning back now. Besides Apollo, there was one more person who shed blood at the crime scene.
Person who shed blood? You don't mean...
Oh, but I do. I believe it was Candace Arm who left this message in blood.
What?
What? Detective Arm? Are you sure you know what you're doing here?
Not really.
Objection! What kind of ridiculous assertion is that? If you had said the attacker left the message to throw people off, it might have made sense.
At first glance, that would seem to be the most reasonable explanation. However, Apollo didn't shed enough blood to write such an extensive message.
Uh-oh.
I see. Even the photo makes it clear there wasn't enough blood to write all those letters. Mr. Justice did survive. I suppose he didn't bleed very extensively in that case.
But why would Detective Arm write the defendant's name? There's no connection between the two whatsoever. And I didn't even know the lady who was killed. I admit the investigation didn't turn up any connection between the victim and defendant. They had never met each other.
That's very true. Well then, let's see. Then maybe the intended meaning of the message is not what it appears to be.
The intended meaning?
Not what it appears to be.
Maybe the message was not intended to be Woods.
Coming from you, that's quite the bold statement, Mr. Wright. You wish to assert that this bloody writing could have some other meaning.
Yes, Your Honor. For something I pulled out of a wormhole, it could turn out to be true, right?
Objection! Ha! It clearly says Woods, and as anyone can plainly see, what other meaning could it possibly have?
Objection! But Candace Arm was a detective. Maybe Woods only means something to police. Like a police scanner code, for example.
I didn't think of that.
You may have checked his honor, but you'll never get the best of me. I have a thing for studying on the weekends, as you may have already guessed. And there's no such radio code as woods in this state, dear Mr. Wright. Is that a fact? Sounds like it may. I know as much as you do about police codes.
Enough of this. I was quite taken with the defense's new theory. But if they can't substantiate it with anything, I must end things here.
No, please wait, Your Honor.
Very well, but before we discuss this theory any further, I demand a plausible explanation. So, Mr. Wright, what is the true meaning of this bloody writing?
Well, I believe it's...
No stalling! If you can't come up with an answer quickly, I will declare this discussion officially over.
I'm in trouble now. What other meaning could it have besides the obvious one? Maybe it means something in another language? Maybe it's a code? Thank Phoenix. You can do this.
Which piece of evidence will tell us what the word woods really means?
Well, let's just kind of skip right to the answer. Let's take a look at this. Again, the only reason I'm putting this out is because I know what it is. But we can also argue that it could also be related to this because we know who did the bombing. Because thankfully, this game gives us a fly's eye view of fucking who did the thing. Take that!
The bomb transport case. I've had it up to about here with your shenanigans, Mr. Wright.
Take a look at the numbers on this case, Your Honor. L10015R. Doesn't the string look vaguely familiar?
L100... What does that have to do with anything?
Huh, what could those numbers possibly have to do with the case at hand? Now please take a look at the bloody writing shown in the crime photo. Oh, I think I see it. That a girl, that's one on my side.
It says woods.
Or you could say it's a horse of a different color, Your Honor. The first character isn't a W, it's actually an L and a 1, next to her zeros.
Oh, my goodness.
The true meaning behind the bloody writing isn't Miss Woods' name. It's the number engraved on the bomb transport case. Objection! What are you talking about? The next part doesn't make any sense. And the next number is a 1, but the bloody writing says D.
Objection!
But the number on the case of the bloody writing can be made match up quite easily. This is how the number on the transport case can be made to match the bloody writing. Number on the transport case to match the bloody writing. Add a line, right? Oh, it's... Oh, to make woods. Alright, hold on. Why is this the one I'm having trouble with? That... Whoa, 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 whoa. No, 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 no. They presented it backwards. It was... The question was, how could the number on the transport case be transformed to match the writing, not the other way around? Fuck, man. Please erase the third downward stroke of the W and the curved part of the D.
Well, would you look at that?
Lewis? Oh no, Your Honor, it's meant to be, isn't meant to be read as a word. It's a number L11015, which, if you take away the final R, is the exact same number that's on the bomb transport case. Objection! Ha! Erase two lines and they match up, you say. Well, I could change anything into anything else by simply erasing two lines. What if we erase two lines from your name? Would you be happy as Mr. Rye?
Well, would you, Mr. Rye?
The only right spelling is right. Okay, I'm doing pretty well here, and I think I've drawn the right conclusion. Detective Arm's real message to us is the bomb transport case number. Your Honor, the two lines were added by the real culprit to intentionally mislead people. What? The original message Detective Arm left behind was the transport case number. But whoever assaulted Apollo changed the message. If you're right, boss, then what do you suppose Detective Arm was trying to tell us? Good question. What does this number represent? Do you see this number here? That is my identification number. Candace Arm lost her life in the courtroom bombing. Her dying message could only have had one purpose. No! Tell us the name of the one responsible for the bombing.
Well, don't keep us in suspense, Mr. Wright. Tell us who she was trying to name.
The culprit that the victim was trying to identify is none other than Ted Tonate. Take that! The defense wishes to indict Mr. Ted Tonate on the charge of the courtroom bombing.
Ted Tonate?
Apparently, disabling bombs isn't Mr. Tonate's only specialty. Somehow, the victim must have realized that he was the bomber. So, when she was caught in the blast, she left his bomb transport case number as her dying message. She used Mr. Tonate's own ID number to finger him for the crime. Objection! Why would anyone go out of their way to write an ID number? Wouldn't they simply write the person's name? She's got a good point there.
What do you have to say to that, Mr. Wright?
Only Detective Arm would know the answer to that, but allow me to offer a theory. Perhaps Detective Arm couldn't recall Mr. Tonate's name in the heat of the moment. As I recall, this was the first meeting between the two. It's entirely possible they wouldn't have been familiar with each other. Or maybe using the ID number was a way to hide the true meaning from the real culprit, thus lowering the odds that they would erase the bloody writing. But no matter what the reason, the important thing is the meaning behind her message. The fact remains, she wrote Mr. Tonate's ID number. Now, just one moment here. There hasn't been any proof that it was indeed Detective Arm who wrote it. Bloody writing wasn't found during the investigation after the blast. Detective Arm had left a message. It should have been found at that time. Objection! Naturally, Mr. Tonate hid it before anyone could discover it. And there's a simple explanation for how he was able to do so. What? Mr. Tonate was able to cover up the message because he was the first to find the body. The first person to discover the bloody writing was Mr. Tonate himself. I was the first one on the scene after this explosion. I went there to ensure safety, but I ended up discovering a dead body. Mr. Tonate saw that the victim had written his ID number. He used a bomb transport case to cover up the bloody writing as a stopgap measure. Oh, that's why the message in blood was found in the transport case. He didn't have enough time to try and scrub away the writing. If he didn't report the body right away, he would look suspicious. so those letters lived on to serve another function. And Mr. Tonate used them in another incident.
Oh, they assaulted Mr. Justice!
Exactly. Mr. Tonate hit upon a plan to use the bloody writing for his own purposes, so he didn't clean it right away. Instead, he made it look like Mr. Justice wrote it. By adding 2 lines to the writing the detective arm left behind. He changed the meaning of the message. He made it look like Mr. Justice was accusing Miss Woods of the attack.
So that means...
The only person who could have altered the bloody writing was the courtroom bomber, who was the same person that assaulted Mr. Justice. And that person is Ted Tonate! Ah!
Order in the court! Order, I say! Looks like we will have to hear from this bomb specialist himself. Mr. Payne, please have Mr. Tonate take the witness stand.
Yes, Your Honor.
That was great, Mr. Wright.
Just doing what I do best, which is flying by the seat of my pants.
Dismantling the case is yours.
Do you think you can handle it? I look forward to seeing you try. I finally draw Mr. Tonate back onto the witness stand. Looks like you'll be getting your wish, Goggle Man. Now watch me take your lies apart! And this is where we will end things for today. In the next episode, we interrogate Mr. Ted Tonate. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys later.